back to my channel. In today's video I create a warm half cut crease, and for this I use the Huda Beauty Warm Brown Obsessions palette. Now in the video I did show you two different techniques that you can use in order to create the cut crease, and hopefully one of the techniques is easy for you to follow. I do plan on filming at least one more New Year's Eve tutorial, so please leave me a comment down below letting me know what color you would like to see in a tutorial, and I will go ahead and do that for you guys. And so yeah, let's get to the tutorial. Thank you for watching. Like always, I put some Coty Airspun powder under my eyes to catch eyeshadow fallout. This is a shade Naturally Neutral. And I went into the palette, applied that beige shade on my eyelids, and I used this to set my eyeshadow primer. Then I went into the light brown shade and used it in my transition area. I am not sure why the colors on camera look a lot lighter than what they actually are. For example, that color in the upper right hand corner is actually a deep orange, not a pinky color like it looks on camera. But I do take that color and apply it all over my crease, and I apply it evenly from my inner corner all the way to my outer corner. To deepen up the outer corner, I went into this burgundy or wine type of color, and at first the brush that I was using was very similar to the brush that I used for my crease, and I thought that this would apply the color beautifully, but that was not the case at all. I actually had to switch to a different brush because this way it was applying really patchy. It was too much fallout and not enough pigment. But the brush I switched to was a longer, fluffier brush, and that seemed to work just fine. I patted the color onto my lid and then gently blended. And I did find that I had the same issue with the deep brown shade that's in the palette, and I do have to blend a lot between all of the shades that I used in the crease, and you will see later on how I had to do that with the brown shade too. I'm not sure if it's my brushes or if it's the palette itself, but I did realize that those two deeper shades were not blending as easy as the orange shade. Right now, I'm just going back and forth between the orange and the burgundy shade in order to better blend that crease. The burgundy really made the crease look patchy, so I just want to smooth that out. And I do want to say that there is a lot of kick up and a lot of fallout from these eyeshadows, and it's too much fallout or kick up compared to the blendability and the pigmentation, I would say. As you can see, my fingers are covered in eyeshadow, and this is just from tapping the brush on the edge of the palette. In order to create a cut crease, I use concealer. This is a Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer Cream in the shade Whiteout. I place some concealer to the back of my hand, and then with a flat concealer brush, I pick it up and place it on my lid. Now, depending on what kind of look I want, if I want a half cut crease, I obviously only apply it to half of my eyelid, and if I want a full cut crease, I apply it to my entire eyelid and wing it out a bit. Now, using concealer helps block out the eyeshadow that you might already have on your lid, and by using a white concealer, the color that I will apply onto my lid will pop a little bit more. It is important to only pick up a little bit of concealer with your brush. If you apply too much, you could make a mess. So what I'm doing now is just switching to the clean side of the brush and patting the color in. And if the brush is not precise enough, just take your finger and pat the concealer in. You know how sometimes concealer can get a little goopy and you can have chunks of concealer? I don't know if chunks is the right word, but just go in with your finger and smooth the concealer out. And now I'm going into the beige color of the palette, and I'm using it to set my concealer so there is no creasing. Now here comes the fun part. I am going to grab some of that golden shade and I'm going to pack it onto my brush. I'm then going to foil it using my Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray, and I'm going to apply it to the lid with patting motions. I am going to follow that shape that I created with the concealer. However, on the middle of the lid, I am going to bring it out a little bit more, and this is going to help with the blending of the lid shade and the outer corner shades. And now I'm going to apply some dry golden eyeshadow onto the lid. And I am placing the dry shadow on top of the foiled eyeshadow because I find that sometimes foiled metallic eyeshadows can get too wet and they can eventually crease throughout the day. So this will help prevent the creasing and it will help build up the color. I'm also bringing it outside of the middle of the eye because it will help with the blending of the outer corner and the lid color. And now I'm going back into that burgundy shade so that I could further blend the outer corner to the lid. I like to take my time when blending, especially have cut creases because I do not want the colors to harshly meet. So now I am mixing that burgundy and that golden color and placing it right on top of where the gold ends and the burgundy begins so they can transition into each other better and more smoothly. And I went back into the orange shade so that I could continue working on the crease so that there are no harsh edges. And I dipped into that dark brown shade so that I could further deepen that outer corner. I did this by patting in the brown color and then trying to blend it. Like I said, the deep shades do not blend as easily. So now I am applying more golden eyeshadow onto where the burgundy and the gold meet, and this will help when light hits that spot of my eye. There will be a little bit of a gold shine onto the burgundy instead of having the gold stop where the burgundy begins, and this just helps the blend look a lot cleaner. And I do go back and forth between mixing the burgundy and the brown and the gold so that the outer corner can look more smooth and more blended. And I blend it in a little bit into the outer corner, and I just go back and forth between the three colors until I get the blend exactly where I want it. A second technique on how to do a cut crease is by going from the metallic eyeshadow straight onto your eyelid and forming the shape of your cut crease with the eyeshadow itself. Now I find that this step works better with metallic or shimmery shadows, and the concealer step working best with matte eyeshadows because with metallics it's easier to work with versus mattes, which are just a solid color. The only difference between both eyes was the way I created the cut crease, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to my next step, which was use this vanilla creamy shade to clean up my outer corner and my crease. I use it as my matte brow bone highlight because it helps clean up that crease, it helps get rid of harsh edges, and I use it in the outer corner because I feel like it helps sharpen up the outer corner and brighten. For my lower lash line, I'm going to go into that burgundy shade and apply it right on my lashes. I'm going to take it from the outer corner all the way into the inner corner, and I am going to connect it to my top eyeshadow. I'm going to further blend that burgundy shade with the salmony peachy shade in the palette, and I'm going to drag it a little further down. For highlight, I'm going to use a Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals, and I am going to apply that to my inner corners and the high points of my brow bones. I am going to fill in my waterline using the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in the shade Black Fever. For eyeliner, I'm going to keep it really tight and close to my actual lashes, and I'm going to use a Kat Von D ink liner in the shade Trooper. After curling my eyelashes, I am going to apply the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara because I want that drama in this look. At this point, you can apply whatever winged liner or whatever type of liner or false eyelashes or whatever mascara makes you happy. This is just the drama that I want and that I desire for this look. For face highlight, I'm going to use a Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. It's the same highlight I use for my eyes. Because it's supposed to be a New Year's Eve look, you can use whatever blinding highlight you would like. For blush, I'm using the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Powder Blush in the shade Sweet Pea. For lips, I am filling in and outlining using the Palladio Lip Liner in the shade Spice. And I did overline just a bit, and I'm going to fill in my lips using MAC's Velvet Teddy. I did attempt to film this look with a bold lip, but I found it too overpowering. Let me know if you find the correct shade of bold lip so that I can try it out, because I feel like it will look really pretty instead of just playing it safe with a nude lipstick. For setting spray, I used my Urban Decay De-Slick spray and I patted it in using my EcoTools Beauty Sponge. And that brings us to the end of the video, you guys. Thank you for watching. As you can tell, I got a new microphone, so I feel all professional and whatnot. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.